Hi guys, very good evening to you. Welcome to the video number 271. This is Ajay, and in this video we are going to talk about one of the question. I got this question actually from one of my subscribers, and in this basically it's a kind of a quiz. You can say that it's a kind of the question which he faced actually in the interview. Though the data is not shared with me, but so I have prepared the dummy data, but then the email was all about that how you can actually prepare the summary report, basically what functions we use generally in the dashboards, right, in the summary reports. So guys, in this video I'm going to cover three functions, three functionalities of Excel. One is called the Vlookup, second is the iferror, and the third one is the data validation, which is called the drop down. Right now, for those who are watching the channel for the first time, then you need to go to the playlist, guys. And by the way, welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for stopping by and giving your precious time. So we have 270 videos on Excel VBA, and Access and Access VBA. These are all the different playlists which I have created. You can see that. So when you're going to watch this video, after this video, if you have any doubt, let's say if you don't know what is actually Vlookup, if you do not know what is the data validation, please go ahead and watch these the different playlists, and try to find out all the related playlists. For example, if you scroll it down, you would somewhere here see that Excel VLOOKUP, as you can see here, Excel VLOOKUP and match. So when you click on this playlist, you would see 14 videos. Now if you're a beginner, then don't start with any video. Rather than that, I would say that first watch, for example, this video, complete VLOOKUP with the match discussion, right? Exercise on VLOOKUP with the if, count, if, and max. So there are a lot of videos. They are all the basic videos, advanced videos, intermediate level videos. We have so many things. VLOOKUP error handling. So so once you have the good knowledge of these videos, this will be very easy for you to actually understand what I'm saying, because in this video we are not really going to get into the in-depth of what is the VLOOKUP function, what is the data validation, right? I will be telling you about that, but not in the detail, because this is not a video dedicated to the beginners. For the beginners, I have already uploaded all the videos. Just go ahead and watch if you don't have any idea about it. Okay. So as you can see here, we have the manager name, we have the team leader, we have the project ID, we have the description, and we have the start date and the end date. And the question is, create a summary report which tells about the team leader and the project ID, etc. On choosing the manager name, if the manager name is not available in the database, it should give a blank, right? It should show blank instead of the error. So what we actually want to do is, I want to create a kind of a summary report that, for example, here if I choose any drop down, in the drop down if I choose any manager name, as you can see there are a lot of different manager names here. So automatically the rest of the details should populate maybe just below that cell, okay, where you are actually writing the manager name, or maybe it could be anything, right? So how are we going to do that? That is the important thing. Okay, so what we will do is we will create first of all a drop down where we can actually put all these manager names one by one, right? So in order to put the drop down, so what I will do, I will simply just maybe here, or I can move this here. So here what we will do, I'm going to create a drop down. So I'm going to create the drop down. I go to the data and we'll go to the data validation. This is for the drop downs, guys. You go to the settings option and you select on the list, and in the list you got to choose the source. So what is my source? My source is the list of all these names. All right, when you press OK, you see that you will start getting the drop down. By the way, Alt DL is a shortcut key which for the drop down. If you don't want to use the ribbon, you can also use the Alt DL, right? So this is my drop down, and let me just give it a color. Okay, let's just give it a white. So if I choose any name here, for example, right? So what we want to do is, we want to get all these, the team leader, the project ID, the description, start date, end date, it should come here. That's actually we are trying to do. So let's do one thing. Let me just copy all these headers, and I'm going to actually transpose this Alt ES. When you press Alt ES, it takes you to the page special window. This is a very common feature. I hope that everybody is familiar with that. Alt ES, and just gonna click on the transpose. When you click on the transpose, it actually what it does is it changes the direction, right? So right now I have copied the data which is in the horizontal direction. So the moment I press OK, it is going to be converted it is going to be transformed into the vertical direction. All right, so let me just give it a color as well. Now this is exactly your the summary report which we are actually preparing, right? And here we have the drop down, and let me just give it a maybe this color. Now what we need to do is here we need to populate all the numbers itself, right? So you know that the Vlookup is a function which can do it very easily. So you can directly start with the Vlookup, and you can say that the lookup value, so look up this person where exactly in this table, and in this table on which column, right? Now that depends now on which column. So the which column is because you're finding out the team leader, so you can write here 2 because it's on the second column, and you can write here 0, right? Similarly, you can again you can freeze the table and you can drag this, right? So when you drag it, what will happen the next time when you drag it here, you need to freeze your lookup as well because that's your J1, and so you need to freeze completely J1 so that it should not move at all. So I'm going to drag this in this direction, and you see the answer is coming 11777. The reason is very simple, because here for the project ID the column number should not be 2, right? Now you know that, right? Why I'm saying that it cannot be 2, because the column number for the project ID is going to be 3. As I said, this is not a basic video, right? So I really trust, I hope, I believe that you guys know Vlookup very well, right? And if you don't know, no worries, just go ahead and watch those basic videos first on the channel, right? And everything will be clear, and you can come back and watch this video. So this is going to be 3. Now the point is, I can go ahead and I can change all these headers, you know, one by one. That's fine, I can do that. It's a one-time pain. But if you have more headers like this, then you know you really like to automate this thing. So what I'm doing right now is I'm changing the column numbers one by one. As you can see here, right, the column numbers are getting changed, and because this is a date, so you need to go to the you need to click on the right click, format cell, and give it a date format, and give it a maybe this format you can give it. So it says 31st March, and 31st March is exactly, let's say if we have the Masood Ahmed, and what is the 31st of March, is it correct? Yeah, it's actually the start date is 28th November, so I guess we have chosen the wrong column number. It has to be 5. Perfect. And this is going to be the 6th column, right? Now when you do that, it is fine. From the basic you know, if you see it from the somebody who just know the basic Excel, and if that person is preparing this kind of a summary, it looks fine, right? But you know, we when we prepare the dashboards, we really make it very awesome, pretty awesome actually. So now, for example, in this case, what happened, first of all, when I choose any name, other name, let's say I choose this Alan Donald, the moment I do that, you see the dates are changing, the data is changing, right? Everything, right? And by the way, I can do one thing. I can also go ahead and you know, change the dates. So I just go ahead and increment it by 1, and so that the data should look little different. And same I can do it for this. So this is your data basically, right, where you have a different numbers, and you see that the moment I'm going to select something else, let's say Milind Singh, the data is automatically changing. So that's pretty awesome, right? This is how the dashboards are prepared. All right, now another thing is that, for example, in the future, if you're asked that the project ID should not come first, on the second position, the project ID should come here. So the moment you write the project ID, obviously this data will not change. And if you write here team leader, let's say, you see that this number is not going to change. It's a reason because you said that look up the value Milind Singh. You need to look up in this table, and you need to find it down in the 3rd column. So obviously in the 3rd column you will always find the project ID. So it doesn't matter if you change the headers, you know, it's not going to affect at all, right? So here I can say headers, or maybe parameters, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so I want to tell you now what we actually would like to do is, the moment I change the parameters, the value should also change. The moment I write a description, there should be a description. How you are going to do that? So I'm going to tell you that how you can actually you know, going to combine the Vlookup with the match function. Okay, so match, I have again talked about this function a lot. There are a lot of exercises, there are a lot of things, videos on the match function from the basic to the advanced. So go ahead and watch those videos. I have already shown you the playlist Vlookup with the match function. You can go there and check out the videos if you are a beginner, right? So what I'm going to do is, instead of this the 3, which is the column number, we are going to use the match function here, because match returns the position, right? For example, just to give you the clarity, let me just do it step by step. Now what I want to do is, I would like to match this. Match returns the position. If the table is horizontal, then it is going to return the column number. If the table is vertical, it is going to return the row number. Now your table, where you all have, you have these colored headers, manager name, team leader, project ID, they are all aligned horizontally, so obviously it is going to be a row, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to look up this project ID, and the next is the lookup array. Lookup array means the table, so I'm going to actually choose this table. Now in this table, if I go, what would be the next thing, which is called the match type. Match type means exact match type, and this is going to be the 0, right? Exact match type means we need the exact project ID, right? I will be talking about this less than and the greater than in the coming videos, but right now we need the exact match, and that is why we are writing 0. So the moment you press enter, you see that you get the 3, which is exactly the case, because this is the first column, this is the second, and this is the third, right? Now remember one thing, guys, when I'm saying that this is the first column, it does not mean that I'm saying this first column because it's on the A column. No, it's first column because your table starts from here in the Vlookup, right? So Vlookup, if the table is going to be, let's say, somewhere here, let's say, then what happens if I move the table over here, then this is again the project ID again is going to be the third column. Remember, it is not going to be the fourth column, which you think, if you're thinking that it is going to be the fourth. No, when you work on the Vlookup, basically when you decide on the column numbers, you decide on based on the table headers, not on the Excel headers. Okay, let me undo it. Let's go back to the previous position. So we got the position 3, and similarly now I'm going to freeze the table, and we are going to keep this I4 as open. I drag it, and you got to see 3, 2, 4, 5, 6. Now 3, 2, 4, 5, 6 is nothing but the positions of these headers. So now you have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So that is what exactly is happening here. End date has a 6th position, right? So now what we can do is, instead of linking this 2, writing the 2 here manually, because we wrote the 2 manually, why don't we just go ahead and select this cell, because this is automatically going to give us the the column number, right? So if we can do this, then what is the benefit, if you ask me? Why I'm doing that? Because ultimately it's one and the same thing. Because if you see, I entered here 2, right? So the moment I entered here 2, by the way, it should not be actually 2, it should be 3. I beg your pardon, that's why I'm not getting the correct project ID number. And team leader actually is going to be 2, okay? Because team leader is on the second column, right? And that's only because I actually changed these positions, right? So you got to keep on changing. So this is what I'm actually trying to get rid of, right? So this 3, instead of this 3, what if I link this cell, I link this formula with this K4. Now if you ask me what is the benefit of it, well, we have a it's a great benefit, because now you're not writing the constant. Because in Excel, when you drag the formula down, the Excel increases the row number, a simple concept of the dollar sign, a simple concept of the cell referencing. So now you have converted, you have changed your this constant to a K4. So K4 means it's a cell address. So when you're going to drag it, K4 becomes K5, and then K6, and then K7, and so on. And ultimately these 3 and 2, 4, 5, 6, all the numbers which are entered here, they're going to be picked up, right? So this is how the formula will start behaving. So if I drag the formula right away, you see the answer would come, which exactly would look like same, right? So here we have the same answer, right? But yes, one more thing I want to tell you, because these are the dates, so that's why they look like a number, but you need to select them. You just go to the format cell, and you can change this date category. Just or maybe I can give it some good category. Maybe I can choose this category. That looks pretty awesome, right? Now what is the benefit? Now guys, if I press F2, because F2 is a key, you know, which you press, then actually you get to see all the cells which are, you know, which are a part of your formula. Now this table is highlighted, as you can see. This is the outline, and this is also, you know, one of the thing which is highlighted, and another is J1, which is your lookup. So if I just move this alignment to the left, because right now I can't see the project ID team leader. So now if I press F2, this is what exactly it is. So this is going to be Milind Singh. We are selecting Milind Singh. Vlookup is finding out in this table, searching for the Milind Singh, and after it finds it, you know, it's actually going on the third column. And here if I press F2, you see that this cell is highlighted, right? So let me just increase the width of this, maybe then we can see it. Yeah, so you can see that this cell is highlighted. So automatically all the column numbers are getting highlighted. Now what is the benefit? The benefit is very simple. Tomorrow if your management says that you got to put the team leader first, what you will do, you just write here team leader and press enter, and you see that the answer will change automatically, right? And if let's say they say that you need to put the description here, you see the answer is automatically getting changed. And if here you write the project ID, the answer is automatically going to change. This is pretty awesome. If you write here end date, automatically you know the things are going to change. If you write here start date, the date will also change. So what is happening, because of these 2, 4 and 3, 6 and 5, where you have, you know, where actually you are using the formula, everything is changing automatically, right? And that is the reason we have used the match function, because if we change the headers, then automatically the numbers are also going to be changed. So instead of using this K4, you can also do one thing. You can directly write the match function inside it. So match, you're going to look up what? Going to look up this team leader. Where exactly you're going to look up? In this table. The table is going to hold this entire row, and we're going to use the 0 and then close the bracket, and A1 to F1, which is your table, we are going to completely freeze it, right? And I4 will keep it as it is, and I'm just going to drag it. The moment I drag it, you know that this once again we have to format this. I go to the control 1 and I'm just going to change it. You can change this. So in this way you can make this formula, right? This is a very dynamic formula. And guys, now we don't need this. Now if you change anything, for example, you write the project ID here, you see that everything is changing. If you write the description here, you will have the description changed, right? So in this way the things will change itself. You don't have to really be worried about anything, right? Now let's say, as I talked about the if error, so just in case if you have some let's say here you have a new header, or maybe I would say here in the this data validation, I add one more value, which is let's say going to be suppose the list is not coming from here. If you remember, we created the list from here. Suppose the list is coming from another sheet, and here we have this sheet, okay? And I'm going to add some more names. Let's say I add Manoj Kumar and then Shweta Bansal, okay? So these are the names which I have added, right? And let's say one more name we can add, Shell Smith. Now let's say your table, which let me press Alt DL, you go to the data validation. Now this is not your data validation. Let's say we have the data validation coming out from here. Now there are 3 leaders. You know that if they are not going to be selected, if they are going to be selected here, Smith, Cheryl, let's say I select this, you see that this is going to be the error, obviously. Why? Because in your database you don't have those team leaders, you don't have the manager names, right? So what we can do, instead of having these errors, as in the question it is asked that we would like to create the blank, so what you can do, you can use the if error, right? Now I have talked about the if error a lot in this 40 to 45 minutes of video, and the playlist is that demo videos on the MIS training, okay? My demo videos, MIS training. Just go ahead and find out the video Vlookup plus match plus if error, and you would understand what I'm saying, right? So it says that if error and in the value and the value of error. So if the value is there, which means that if this formula gives the value, so let it be the value. Let's just publish the value. In case if that formula not giving you the value but the error, then what would you like to do? So I would like to create it a blank like this space. So this is how you write the blank. Just close the bracket and that's it. you see that the moment I drag the formula, this is how it looks like. So whenever you have the error, for example, if I choose the Melancing, I get the values back. If I choose the KTK, I got the KTK values. If I choose the Akshay Kumar, I got the value for the Akshay Kumar. If I choose Shweta Bansal, which is not a part of this table, you get the space. This really looks pretty awesome, right? So in this way, you can prepare this kind of a summary. And guys, this is what exactly in your interviews they want to check, because VLOOKUP, iferror, and match, and there are a couple of more functions which obviously I'm not going to discuss about them in this video. Maybe in the another video I will talk, but these are the functions which really come very handy if you are somebody who really works on Excel a lot, and if you're lucky enough to have people around you who really know Excel very well. If you just capture there, if you just see there, these all summary in the dashboards, right? Generally these are the formulas they have used a lot, right? You can be as creative as you can. I'm not really such a creative person to be very honest. I really don't enjoy being I mean creative on the summary parts. I rather than think more on the analytical side, that how to get the output, right? So I think I'm good in that. So this dashboard can be, you can shape it up in a different way as well. You can use these special shapes here, like these shapes, or maybe you can customize your this you have some pretty good shapes here as well. I think this is the smart dashboard. You can use these, all the list processes, these are the ready-made there's pictures, right? So you can use that. They are available, I think, in all the versions, 2007, 2010, 2013, right? I'm using 2016 by the way. So this is how, guys. I hope now if you knew these functions already, then you would have definitely now or understood that how actually in the practical environment we use these functions, right? Now many of you would be also, I'm sure, would be thinking on the one thing that I have done the entire thing, but there is one problem. Because for these end dates, every time I have to go and click on the format cells, because the moment you for example, right now if I make these like this in the date format, this looks pretty cool. But what if I write here end date? Then end date would come, but the number, it would be in the number form. It is not in this form. So guys, we can do that stuff as well. What you can do is you can combine this with the if function, right? So you can say that before this if error, let me just remove this. So you can write here that if this cell is equals to what? Start date, okay? Or the same cell I4 equals to end date. I'm using the if or function, right? Then what to do? So before I do that, I need to write here if or. So out of these two conditions, start date or end date, anything if it comes, then what it should do? Then it should, whatever the function you have applied, obviously that is going to give the value, right? But that value should be converted into a text. So you write the text function, and in the text function this value comes, and then comma, this format text which is now bold, you write the DD and YY. So this will give you the date format, right? And just in case if this is not the case, then what would you like to do, right? Then, by the way, you need to close this bracket first, because here I'm going to close my all the logics. So right now, if these logics are going to be true, any of the logic is going to be true, this function will be executed. And if this is not true, which means if you don't have a start date and end date, then what you want to do, you simply want to actually use the VLOOKUP. So you just go here, comma, and you write the plus sign here. So when you write the plus sign here, just click on the yes, and there we go, guys. So now let me just drag this, and let's see if we can get the value or not. So there we go. Now everything is coming. We have the start date here, but the end date is not coming. So I have to see I4 equals to end date, and it is the end date actually. Let's see if we have any space or not. So this should be a text VLOOKUP and this. So let's do one thing. Let's go to the formula. In the evaluate formula, I can actually click on this, and I really use this tool a lot, evaluate formula. This tells me step by step, how the formula is behaving. For example, this underline item is going to be executed first. When you click on the evaluate, you get to see the end date. So is it equals to start date? It is not equals to start date, so this is going to be false. Perfect. Now iFor, again, it is going to be, so this is also coming false. So we have some mistake here, I guess. We have the end date here, and I4 equals to start date and end date. So I think this is 14. My mistake. This is really very silly, guys. I'm so sorry. I made it actually 1. This is not that was actually 1. 14 is not equal to that. I'm so sorry, it happens. Well, that's fine, right? Now we got the I4, and you see that now your problem is sorted out. Now what is going to happen if you change this to project ID? You see that the project ID would come. If you change this to description, you got the description. If you change this to start date, you see that the date would come. Now it's not coming in the number. That's really fantastic, right? So if you put everything in the date, you see that everything would come automatically in the date format, guys, because we have used the if function, right? So in the if function, what happens if you have a start date or an end date in the header, then whatever the VLOOKUP and the match function is going to give you back, which is obviously a date, but it would be in the number, this text function is going to be applied. And if it is not a start date or end date, then obviously we are using in the false simply a VLOOKUP, which is simply going to capture the value and give it back to you, right? So if you just go ahead and change this to again team leader and you press enter, there has to be correct spelling. I guess I added one space extra. Yeah. So now you can go ahead and you can write the project ID, you can write the description. So if you add the description, everything is going to look neat and clean. So if you add the team leader, again team leader, you see the numbers are changing, right? So let me just go back and change this to start date. So this is really a very good exercise we have done. And so you see that in this single formula, we are using the if function, we are using the text function, we are using the VLOOKUP function, we are using the match function, and we are also going to use the if error. So what if somebody is going to choose the another, let's say this Shweta Bansal, you see the error is going to come. So again at the end of this, I'm going to add the if error. So if the entire function returns in the error, then you know what you need to do. Value if error, or this time let me say that not found. Okay, you can write here not found, or you can write that manager incorrect, or not found, whatever you want to do, right? That's all up to you. So now you copy the formula and paste it here, Control V, and there we go. So now we have Cheryl, Cheryl is not there, Manoj is not there, perfect. Pia, if I select Pia, the data is going to come. If I select Melin, the data is going to come. If I select Kitty, it is going to come. If I write here start date, it is going to come automatically in the date format, right? So I can pause this, you can pause this video, you can have a look on this in this function. And if you have any queries about this, let me know. But once again, I'm telling you, if you are a beginner or if you're an intermediate person, you will find all these videos on my playlist, right, from the very basic. It's not that I have just just for the sake of recording the video, I'm recording the video. No, I'm telling you again, this is really advanced stuff. And if you don't have, if you find it difficult, first go ahead and watch these different playlists: Excel VLOOKUP and match, Excel text functions, Excel my demo videos on the MIS training, so you will understand. Then come back and see this video again. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, guys, please do that, and I hope you enjoyed the session. I will see you soon with the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and have a very, very great learning. Thank you so much, guys. Bye bye.